but we've seen a substantial improvement of about 1,000 megawatts in the reduction in partial load losses. So in total, we have unplanned losses of 14,180. The demand for evening peak tonight is likely to be significantly lower, as is typical of a Friday evening. Of course, this being a long weekend, we anticipate a similar pattern that will prevail for a Friday. And we expect that there will be a demand of 27,183, which is about 1,000 megawatts lower than, 2,000 megawatts lower than yesterday. The demand shortfall due to the reduction in partial load losses is also about 1,000 megawatts lower, and we therefore do not anticipate with stage 2 load shedding that there should be difficulties tonight with navigating the peak. We are still on track to lift stage 2 load shedding by 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, so we'll stick to that commitment. Over the weekend, as we've communicated in our media release, we will use the expected lower demand that typically prevails over a long weekend to replenish our diesel reserves and make sure that our dams are as full as possible. And that should then put us in a position where our reserves are adequate for the start of the week on Tuesday next week. However, there do remain risks in the system due to the unpredictable nature of our generation system, and that may lead to load shedding during the course of next week. At this point in time, we are doing everything that we can to avoid that, but given the unpredictability of our system, we are not able to give you a guarantee that that will not happen. We've been burning diesel at Ankerlig. We are currently sitting at 77% tank levels. We've got 26 hours. If we use all units at Gerikwa, we've got 37 hours, and we have been able to replenish our diesel stocks there. It's currently sitting at 86.5%. Our pumped storage still isn't where we would like it to be. Drakensberg has 77 hours left to pump to fully replenish the upper dam. So that is more than we would have liked, and hence the opportunity to do that during the long weekend is welcomed. Ingula is looking a bit better, but we do have constraints, as I mentioned yesterday, due to the heavy rains over KZN. We have a full upper and lower dam. Over the weekend, we will be releasing water in a responsible manner, bearing in mind that the Ingula wetland area has been declared a Ramsar heritage site. So we're very aware of our environmental responsibility, and we will do everything that we can to avoid damage. And we will slowly release water in order to create space in the lower dam for additional storage at Ingula. We have 5 open cycle gas turbines running at Gerikwa at this point in time. So again, for mid-morning, that is not where we would like to be, and it points to a shortage in generation capacity. We anticipate that we will use 7 open cycle gas turbines tonight, and that should see us through our peak period. During the course of the evening, we saw a trip at Kusile 2 at 24 minutes past 8 last night. That unit came back at 22 minutes past 4 this morning. So if there are people who think that Eskom doesn't work during the night, I think that proves that we really have teams out there that are working all hours of the day and night to ensure that we bring units back as soon as possible. You may recall that yesterday we reported that we had some issues with Majuba 6. That turbine bearing vibration issue has reasserted itself, and we've now taken Majuba 6 off for inspection to see what the issue is with those 2 bearings, and if necessary, will effect repairs over the weekend. Camden 7 was returned to service last night at just before 7. And then we had a trip at Kendal Unit 3 at 10:15 last night. So we have had some units come back, some units that tripped, and therefore the outlook, unfortunately, is that we will sustain load shedding as previously communicated until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, when we will lift it for the long weekend, if everything goes according to plan. With that, Sikonati, I'm going to ask you to moderate any questions that there might be at this stage. Thank you.
Thank you for that update, André. Colleagues, you already have received the media statement, which confirms what André has said. And I humbly request you to use this conversation, what you are recording here, for your voice notes at the broadcast media. I do not have any questions at this point. Okay, there we go. Terence has just gotten going. What is the position regarding units at risk? That is the question. Philip, are you able to answer that, please, or André?
Yeah, let me answer it. So, Terence, today the units at risk, it's just under 10,000 megawatts. We've got 9,780 megawatts units at risk, and that ranges from partial load losses to full load losses. And it's anything boiler tube leaks, units that we know are running with boiler tube leaks or high vibrations, so certain areas of plant that we under stress that may give at any stage. We will be using this weekend, and we have in fact started to do so, to try and reduce the amount of units at risk. Unfortunately, some of them 5 days, 7 days. So that is why we are also worried about next week, particularly the start of next week, although it's a long weekend. But you know, that's where we are, just under 10,000. But we will work during this weekend to try and reduce the amount of megawatts at risk. Thanks.
Thank you, Philip. What power station are you at?
I'm at Kusile Power Station.
Thank you. That was the last question we had for the day, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if we should wait 1 more minute for any more questions. Anything else you might want to add, Philip or André, before we shall have to close in about 2 minutes if there's no questions.
Sikonati, the only point to add really is to request all South Africans to please support us, particularly over the long weekend as we replenish these reserves. Use electricity sparingly. If you have unwanted, unneeded lights that are burning, please switch them off, and make sure, particularly during peak hours, that you continue to help us. We do notice the support that we receive from the general public. We are very grateful for that, and we really appeal to you to continue to assist us in this regard. This is a true collective effort, and as always, everyone's contribution is very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, André. Colleagues, thank you again for attending. As I did say at the start, this is the last media briefing of the week, where unless anything changes, you will not hear from us, except probably to just confirm in the morning the suspension of load shedding. Thank you very much for your attendance again.